Well, hi guys. I was actually there in Charleston and watched that debate. A couple things. I mean, first of all, for people who want to know more about how this tax plan works, Laffer and I wrote this book called Return to Prosperity, and the plan is called the Complete Flat Tax. And basically, and we don't call it a VAT, we call it a business net income tax. It doesn't matter what you call these things, they're terminology. And, if you go back to the original flat tax plan that Paul Robushka and Steve Forbes and Dick Armey came out with 10 years ago, that's a VAT too. I mean, they're all the same. They have minor differences, but they all, dramatically widen the tax base, get rid of all the loopholes. And then what you do under that plan is you tax companies. I thought this is what you like, Larry. You tax companies on their income minus their purchases. So, under that plan, all of that, this is something you taught me was a good thing. You get immediate expensing, and if you build a plant or you invest in technology or computers or whatever it is, you get to write that off immediately. Now, what this plan does, which is controversial, is it eliminates the payroll tax. So right now, all of us pay when we get check, we have a 15% of that is withheld. Half of it is withheld from the individual, and half of it is paid by the employer. We eliminate the payroll tax. By the way, we totally also eliminate the current corporate income tax, and then the employer, the business pays that when it pays its tax each month. Now, the reason, and Jimmy, I would think you'd like this. There's a couple of repercussions of that I think you would like. One is that now you're taxing all payroll tax, so there's no cap on the payroll tax. So when you talk about fairness, this is a system that has a flat rate income tax, but all payroll is taxed, whether it's LeBron James, who makes $50 million a year, or the guy who works on the Ford assembly line who makes $50,000 a year. And so I think that's fair. The other reason I like this tax a lot, and you may not like it, but I think this is an important feature to it, is that this tax is essentially like a GAAP legal tariff on goods and services that are brought in the United States. So if China tries to bring in, a car, there's a 15% tax applied to it when it comes across the border. Conversely, when we produce something here in the United States and send it abroad, there's no tax applied. So, Larry and Jimmy, I think this is the way to answer this call by Donald Trump that we need some kind of massive tariff. No, we don't. We just have to have a good tax system that taxes what comes in and doesn't tax what's produced here.
But I can, I agree about the equalization of goods exporting and importing. I think that's good. But let's take Ben Carson's plan, which you were there when we had dinner with him. It's a good plan. He's got 15%. Stay with the corporate. 15%, 14.9% corporate tax. But that is, full cash expensing, easy repatriation. And it's not hidden, and it doesn't have the opportunities to explode, which is what troubles me. Rubio said this. What if a liberal comes in? We've not repealed the 16th Amendment, which is the income tax. So the liberals say, well, you're at 16 on the VAT, we'll go to 30. And you're at 40 on the income tax, and we'll go to 50. And we'll raise lots of money, maybe to pay off entitlements or lots of shovel-ready jobs and other liberal causes. In Jimmy's piece, it says, from the Tax Foundation, that the VAT is a powerful tax that captures pretty much all of the income in the country. Now, admittedly, it's a tax on consumption and not investment, so that's good. But when you capture all the income in the country and there's not transparency, I still think, Steve, you got to repeal the 16th Amendment, and you've got to put in safeguards that we won't go down the European path. They started with 2%. Now they're at 20-25.
Larry, first of all, let me quick 2 points about this. Number one, I have probably written more against the European-style value-added tax than any person alive over the last 30 years. Because what Europe did was they had a value-added tax on top of all their other taxes.
Right.
So I don't want a VAT tax on top. What we're talking about is replacing the current tax structure with this tax, number one. Number two, this argument that they're just going to raise the tax later, if that's what you're worried, then let's not do this. Let's not broaden the base and lower the rates. I mean, I thought that was what we were for, the most efficient, broad-based tax and the lowest possible rate. Now you're saying, no, we can't do that because if we broaden the base, then they're just going to come along later and raise the tax rate. Well, you're right. They might do that, but then let's not do a flat tax. Then a flat tax is a flawed idea.
But the VAT is sneaky. It's sneaky. The VAT is not transparent. Folks don't know that they're being VATted. That's what worries me. Now, John McIntyre, we need you to weigh in on the analytics.
Be the referee.
The analytics and the politics of this. And particularly, John, let me just forget one question. The Rubio-Cruz debate within a debate, was pretty fierce. What was your take on that part of the debate?
I think Rubio smoked him.
Yeah.
And I think, look, substantively, I agree with what you're saying, Larry. I think going down the path of having a VAT without repealing the 16th Amendment is a total mistake, and the sneakiness and the lack of transparency with the tax is a disaster, and I think it would lead to just greater taxes and more government spending.